So today we're solving equations with variables on both sides. A lot of times variables on both sides we call VOBs. So you might see this on our Canvas page, VOBs. So what that means is whenever we're solving equations, we always only have one letter. So notice how here we have an X and an X. So it doesn't change. It's not an X and a Y. But now instead of it just being 7x plus 19 is 55, we have another x, which isn't a big deal. We need to make sure all our x's are on one side and all the letters or all the numbers are on the other side. So in this case, if we want to move the x over, we can move the 7x to the right, or you can move this negative 2x to the left. Personally, I am going to move this negative 2x because I want to get rid of this negative. So I'm going to add 2x to make these cancel. And whatever you do to one side, you do the exact same to the other. I'm going to put the 2x under the 7x. So now 7x plus 2x is a 9x. Don't forget to bring down this 19 plus 19. And then don't forget to bring down your 55. Remember, that's equal. Now it's a two-step equation like what we've been doing. So we have to get the x by itself. So I need that right there to be by itself. So I need to minus the 19, subtract the 19, and subtract the 19. So 55 minus 19 gives you 36. And then you bring your 9x down. Now again, we're solving for x. So I need this x to be completely by itself. It's almost, but it has a 9. So since this is 9 times x, we are dividing by 9, dividing by 9. So 36 divided by 9 gives you x equals 4. Now, every time you're solving, you can plug back in and check your answer. So let's go ahead and check our answer. Check. So 7x, so we have 7 times our 4 plus 19, and that has to be equal to the other side, negative 2 times x plus 55. So if I plug this into my calculator, 7 times 4 plus 19, I get 47. So this left side is equal to 47, and the right side, plus 55, is also equal to 47. So since both sides are equal, my solution of x equals 4 works. Okay, for this next one, I want you guys to go ahead and I want you to try it. So we have our line down the equal sign, and I need to get everything to one side. So think about what you have to move. So I'm going to move everything to the right side because there's already a y here. That's a lonely y. So I need to move this negative 9y to the right side. Well, to do that, you always do opposite signs. So I'm going to add 9y to get those to go away. I'm going to add 9y to the right side. So that's going to leave us with our 80 equals 6y plus 9y gives you 15y. Well, our last step, because again, we are looking for this y right here, I have to divide by 15, divide by 15. So 80 divided by 15, 80 divided by 15 gives me this decimal, but we don't want decimals. So remember, this little button right here, this double arrow, will put it back as a fraction for you. So 80 over 15 is actually 16 over 3. equals y. So that's your final answer. And just like we checked over here, we could also check for here. I'm not going to, but you could. The only difference is when you plug it into your calculator. So like, let's say we're doing the 6y. You're going to do 6 parentheses, and then you're using this button right here, this n over d, 16 over 3. Arrow over and close it up. So that gives you 32. So if you do it to the left side, hopefully it also gives you 32. Okay, next, so the ones we just did didn't have any parentheses. This one and this one both have parentheses. Whenever you're solving, you don't want parentheses. You cannot solve it if there's parentheses there. You have to get rid of them. So we're going to get rid of them by distributing. We have to distribute this -6 to the 4 and the -6 to the -2x. So -6 times 4 is -24. A -6 times a -2x is going to be a positive 12x equals 12x minus 24. Okay, whenever I'm doing these, I always want to move the x's first. So I'm just going to move this one to the right side. So minus 12x, so those cancel. And then I have a minus 12x, so, oh wait, those cancel too. Okay, so I have no x's left, but I still have to complete the problem. -24 from the left side has to equal -24 from the right side. Previously, when we did this, it was like a 24 equals -24. And if they're not the same, it was no real solution. But now they are the same. So because this is a true statement, that's true, it's going to be infinite solution. Infinite solutions. And if you want to shorthand it, you can do your little infinity symbol. Okay, for the next one, go ahead and distribute, and you guys solve that. So pause this video and finish working this problem. Okay, so here you should have distributed and gotten 16 plus 4k. Then I combined like terms, and I got -1k. Well, notice how I have here, I have a -1k on the left and a -k on the right. So there's the left and the right of the equal sign. So because they're the same exact thing on opposite sides, those automatically cancel. Just like right here, I had a 12x and a 12x on the other side. So because they're going to cancel, I'm not even going to do the math on that. 16 equals 11. Does 16 equal 11? You should say no. That's false. So remember, if it's false, your answer is no real solution. No real solution is your answer. Okay, to sum it all up, how do you know an equation has an infinite amount of solutions? Well, first, your variables canceled out. Second, once your variables canceled out, if it's infinite amount of solutions, your answer is a true statement. So once all the math worked out and your variables canceled, we would get something like 2 equals 2. That's true, so it's infinite amount of solutions. How do you know if an equation has no solution? So this one's no solution. Well, number one is your variables canceled out, just like before. And number two, your final answer is a false statement. like negative 12 equals 13. That is false. It is not true. Okay, next, we're gonna do some more problems. You are filling 2 containers of water. Container A already has 9 gallons of water in it and is filling at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. Container B is empty and is filling at a rate of 3 gallons per minute. How many minutes will it take for the 2 containers to have the same amount of water? So we have container A's equation, container B's equation, and they're going to be equal to each other. So container A is filling up at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. Usually when you see this 1.5 gallons per minute, that's the part that your variable is going to be. So your X is going to equal minutes because we're 1.5 gallons per minute. So X is minutes. So I'm 1.5X, but container A already had 9 gallons in it. So I'm going to add 9 to the end of that. Container B is empty, so when I write this equation, there's not going to be a number at the end like there is here. But container B is filling up at a rate of 3 gallons per minute. 3 gallons per minute is 3x, 3 times x. Now I need to solve this equation like I've been doing. I need to get all the x's to one side. So since this is already a lonely x, I'm going to move this 1.5 over. So 1.5x, I have to do the opposite. So I need to subtract it. So those cancel out. Minus 1.5x. 9 equals 3 minus 1.5 gives you 1.5. And don't forget to bring your x down. Okay, the reason why I can add these together is because they both have an x. So don't leave that off. Your last step, because this is 1.5 times x, is divide by 1.5. So 9 divided by 1.5 gives you 6. Well, 6 what? How many minutes? So this took 6 minutes for both of them to be at the same amount of water. And let's check. So at 6 minutes, how full were each container? Well, let's see. Container A, I had 1.5 times 6 plus 9. So let's see, 1.5 times 6, then add 9 is 18 gallons. So at 6 minutes, there's 18 gallons for A. B is 3 times 6, which is also 18 gallons. Then we know we're correct. At 6 minutes, they're both the same amount of water. Okay, for this last one, I'm running out of time, so I am going to work it out and you can follow along. So for company A, you should have had 30x plus 50. For company B, you would have had 45x plus 35. Or if you're going based off the actual problem, you could have had 35 plus 45x. It's the same thing. I just always like to put my x's first. Then we're going to solve. So the first thing I did was get rid of the 30x. The next thing I have to do is get rid of the 35. So when you do that, you're left with 15 equals 15x, and your last step is to divide. So don't forget when you do this, 15 divided by 15, it makes a 1. So how long does both companies have to work in order for their price to be the same? 1 hour.